Hello you beautiful people, welcome to the Whiskey Novice. This is not a review. If any of you are new to my channel, I generally do reviews. This is not a review. This is what we would call a challenge. Challenging? It was and it wasn't. What this is every now and again, generally around this time of the year, and when I say this time of the year, it's getting on to Christmas 2022. We're here. Challenges start to fly about among the whiskey community. And this one was issued to me by Greg's Whiskey Guide. Check out Greg's channel. I'll throw a link up here. These challenges start and then they roll over and one of us will challenge the other, etc, etc. And the challenge this time, I think it might have originated, I may have originated with Andrew, Prestige Liquids, WW down in Australia there. It may not have originated with him, but certainly it came to me through those channels. And it's a challenge to pick some whiskies. So it's your choice. It's my choice. And this time the categories were, and I will name them as I go along. So the first category was a daily dram. Your daily dram, what would you take as a daily dram? Well, when I hear the words daily dram, I actually think of two other words. I think affordable and I think enjoyable. Because if it's going to be a daily dram, it has to be something that isn't going to be ridiculously expensive. And it has to be something that you can enjoy over and over again. And I found this one quite easy. Loch Lomond Classic. Really, really inexpensive. Really, really enjoyable for what it is. I mean, when you get inexpensive like that, it's going to be 40%. It's going to be chill filtered. It's going to have colour added. But I just think for something, if you wish to drink regularly, well then, it needs to be inexpensive and it needs to be enjoyable. And that, for me, is what Loch Lomond Classic is. So there, number one, a daily drammer. Number two, the second category, impress your guests. Well, here in the island of Ireland, that comes with a price because you can take out an awful lot of peated whiskies. Smoky whiskey tends to get frowned upon a little here, so it makes that challenge a little harder. And it wasn't harder for me because it was one of those things that I can easily take out smoky whiskies and still have an awful lot to choose from. I had to include a pot still in my list. I just had to. And if I've said it to people before, and I will say it again, if you're ever going to buy one Redbreast, buy the 12-year-old cask strength. So impress a guest, quite simple for me. Now, yes, it is cask strength. It is that bit stronger, but an incredible pot still. So if I want to impress someone and I want them to get pot still as I know it and at its best, I will recommend the 12-year-old Redbreast cask strength. That I will impress a guest with. Next one, mixer. Now, this one's been a bit of a challenge for a lot of us. When they use the word challenge, this one has actually been a bit of a challenge for most of us because most of us don't like to mix our whiskies with anything. So I think, like a few other guys, I know Gav's Drams has done it, and I'll throw a link in maybe below for Gav's Drams version of this, that he did the same as I did, and this is the way I think. Bourbon, and I generally now, I would have liked, I enjoyed my bourbon, but as my journey has continued, bourbons have went down on my list quite a bit. I don't drink as many bourbons as I used to, and when I do drink bourbon now, I do actually tend to blend it or mix it. And when I say mix it, I'm generally talking cola. So I'm going to throw in a bourbon which I'm very fond of, the 1792. This is a good bourbon, and to a certain extent then it's a bit of a shame to say you would mix it with cola, but I'm just doing that with nearly every bourbon I drink now. It gets mixed with cola and ice, and I know that is sinful to some people, but bourbons tend to taste the same to me. They do tend to taste quite similar. So I'm just basically here looking at a good expression, a good version of bourbon that I would mix 1792. So the next category, a Friday night sipper. Yet again, this one was a bit tough. This is actually because I looked around my bottles and I thought, well, what is Friday night sipper? What's readily available? Because if it's something that you wish to return to quite regularly, you want to be able to get access to it. You want to be able to have it, that you can buy it over and over again. Well, some of these you can and you can't, but I'm going to pick one and I'm going to offer up to you this, the Glenturret 12-year-old. Yes, it can be a little hard to get, but to me, if you fancy something big, rich, full, something that's just, it's the end of the week and I want something a bit special, but I can still get my hands on it, this is a good example of that. I have a few in my collection that would have fitted that bill very, very easily, but this is the one I've picked in this occasion. And it's the same for the next category, special occasion whiskey. I have a few there that I keep aside for special occasions, and I rarely touch them because they're a bit harder to get. When you have them, you want to hold on to them. You don't want to just be drinking them on regular occasions. You want to keep them for something a bit special. And in this case, I had to have a Springbank in there somewhere, and it is the Springbank 18. A peach, an absolute peach of a whiskey. I had to have a Springbank in this series somewhere, and special occasion. There are others that I would consider special from the Springbank range, but the 18, just even the 10-year-old is incredible. I always think, love the 10-year-old, but the 18 just takes it up that step or two to make a much, much better whiskey. So there you are. That's my picks. I'm not sure what way this works. I haven't watched enough of these to say that should I nominate somebody else. I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to nominate my big old friend Al, Whiskey Straight Al, down there. I'll just throw this in here and I will contact Al and tell him that he has been nominated to do the same pick here. Look, it's hard to choose. Come back in another week and I would have picked 5 totally different whiskies. But it's just one of those things. You have to, when you're challenged, when somebody says, do it, I've done it. But I think if you were looking for 5 very different whiskies, you couldn't get 5 more different whiskies. That's it. That's my pick. That's where I go with it. As I said, we're getting very close to Christmas 2022. I wish you all a Merry, Merry Christmas when the time comes. Here's my choice. Thank you. Enjoy. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.